Hello everybody, hello, no aloha here. I messed up. I've done a mess up. I did a big mess up. Welcome to not part 8. Part 8 was the last video of the Midnight Masks. Part 9 was the first video in our attempt at playing through the Devourer Below. This is the video that's going to go between part 8 and part 9. I guess. I'm going to I'm going to keep them up on the channel, but I'm going to remove from the playlist our recent playthrough of the Devourer Below. A few problems have arisen, and I don't like problems. I want the playthrough to be fairly normal, without problems, you know? Let's go through the problems. Let me get rid of this, because this is ugly and obnoxious. It's this button. Is it this button? Yeah, it's this. Okay, we'll get rid of that. 3 problems with the playthrough of the Devourer Below. I guess, starting off with the gentlest of problems. Now this is quite convoluted, because there was a lot of back and forth, and I actually changed our Devourer Below playthrough because of it. So what happened in scenario 2, in video 5, Wendy was in Southside, down here, and then there was Riverside up here, the central location, and Wendy drew this card. Before I started playing scenario 2, I had done my homework where this card was concerned, and I felt pretty confident that I knew how it worked. Specifically, whether you could avoid disengaging and moving to the central location if you assigned damage or horror to an ally. When I was playing through, I felt very, very confident that you did not move. You cannot avoid the disengagement and the movement if you just take the damage that's applied to you and put it on one of your other cards instead of on your investigator. I was no, I wasn't 100%. I was 96% certain that I had read something official-like somewhere, and I felt pretty good about that. However, after I uploaded the videos, one of the users, and I totally understand why they did this, one of the YouTube viewers commented that that was incorrect, and that because I assigned the damage elsewhere, that actually meant that I did not have to move. I wasn't actually allowed to move. So where did that confusion come from? Because I want everybody to just know how to play this properly. First and foremost, you cannot avoid the post-then effect here by putting damage or horror on an ally or an asset. Does not work. However, if you were to go to the YouTube user, let me see if I can find this. Yes, I already have it up. So here is the reason why the YouTube user thought that they had it correct when they corrected me. And it is this line here. If you fail the test and use a card effect to prevent or redirect some or all of the damage horror, then you do not move. I think this is where the YouTube user and myself subsequently got hung up. This word redirect. Redirect in the Arkham DB FAQ here does not mean reassign to then apply. Reassign is one thing. Redirect here is referring to, where's the Reddit thread? Here. This is the Reddit thread. I'll drop a link to this in the video description if you want to give it a good read. But essentially, I think it's Matt that is talking. Matt is commenting, one of the designers, Matt Newman. And he mentions a situation where, let's go back to Tabletop Simulator. Like I said, I will link to that. Oops, you're not supposed to see that. Whoops-a-daisy. It was Akina. Where are you, Akina? Akina. Where have I hidden you? Oh, this is my early table. This one. And bring Akina over here. So Akina allows you to redirect damage. It allows you to take damage that you would put on your investigator or cards that you control in play and place it elsewhere so it's not impacting on you, the investigator, or your cards. That is what the line in the FAQ is referring to. A card that would prevent damage entirely, I'm not sure there are many of those, if any, in the card pool at the moment, or a card like Akina where you are taking the damage and you're not suffering it anymore. You're putting it elsewhere. In Akina's case, another enemy at your location takes it. That is why I got this confused. This is why the YouTube commenter, I think, got confused with that redirect. Ultimately, though, I could not find that Reddit thread after reading the comment, and I worked myself up into a bit of a palaver trying to figure out which way it should go. Without finding that Reddit thread, I thought I was going a little bit crazy, and I had imagined it. I actually thought it was on BGG. It completely skipped my mind that it might be on Reddit instead. Anyway, so I played Wings of Darkness correctly in Scenario 2, and that meant that I shouldn't have done all of the kerfuffle with adding a cultist back in. We were perfectly fine to begin Scenario 3 with 6 cultists interrogated. That was the first problem. Everybody's cool with how you play this, yeah? You cannot avoid the effects just by reassigning damage onto an ally or an asset. Very important. Okay, that was the first problem. Not really a big deal, because, I mean, essentially we made Chapter 3 more difficult for ourselves, which is fine by me, no problem. The second problem with our playthrough of the Devourer Below was when I got to Agenda 1A, when we advanced this, we spawned a... That's not... We want this card. Go away. This is the back of the card. The reverse of Agenda 1A, we spawned a ghoul minion on the main path, and I did all that, and I found my monster, and I completely neglected to notice the last sentence, then place 1 doom on that enemy. So I should have placed a doom token on the ghoul minion, which would... The impact that would have had on the game is the Agenda 2, where all the monsters had +1 combat difficulty and +1 evasion difficulty. That would have essentially ended 1 turn earlier. It wouldn't... You could argue that because of an ancient evil that came out, that it didn't actually have much of an impact. And if it did have an impact, then it might have even just made that combat that Roland did that little bit easier. We weren't pushing up against the countdown of Agenda 3 by the time we finished that. So I think this did have an impact, obviously, but I don't know whether it would have caused us a loss necessarily. But it's so important to keep track of Doom, and when I found out about this morning when I woke up, I saw a message from Eric, I think, on the YouTube comments. Thank you, Eric. Yeah, that one stung a little bit because I'd felt quite good about it, and there was this little, oh no, we did do that wrong. Ah, crap. But I wasn't gonna restart the playthrough just for this one. I was just going to take that one on the chin and annotate it in and all that stuff. So that was the second problem. The third problem is enormous, and this is the reason why I am going to replay Chapter 3. Basically, I think, God, I should check before I say this, but I think I have the save game between Scenario 2 and 3 still available. We don't want Act 1, we don't want Act 2. We need this. I have been playing this wrong from day one. From the first day I got this game, and I had a full playthrough and got through to the 3rd chapter and got to Act 3, I read the instructions for this. They entered my brain, sat very nicely, and stuck. And then I've never actually, thinking about it, gone back and really read the words. This is all... I'm getting flashbacks of what happened with Machete now. I have not been in any of my playthroughs, not just this one, I have not been spending a clue to trigger the test, which is literally taking the clue from my pool and removing it so that it is no longer my clue. Once it has left your possession, you are then allowed to take the willpower test and or the agility test. Once you have taken the test, if you're successful, you then take 1 clue from the common pool, just from the clue bag, not from your own personal supply, and place that on the act as a means of tracking that quantity up to 4. So you are spending your own clues, but then you are tracking the number of clues. The clues that are tracking the value on the act card come from the common clue pile. And again, I've not been doing that. The reason that had a huge impact is because, if you recall, if you've watched the videos, Wendy had that one single turn where she evaded her ghoul minion that was in her face, and then she desperately tried to put 2 clues that she had onto the card, and she failed 3 times with her 2 actions. She pulled the broken seal token 3 times in a row. Broken seal token for a repull, and then her 3rd action, broken seal token. All 3 of them were failed, and they would class as her losing those 2 clues because she had spent them for the attempt. The following turn, Wendy didn't lose those clues. She still had them in her possession because I wasn't spending them. I just treated it as a failed test. She then managed to successfully get them on, and we won. So we didn't win at all, and we may well have had to spend several more actions regaining clues from the ritual site to then spend those clues to try to put them on the act card again. It would have taken Wendy at least 4 more actions, which is enormous, especially with the Doom situation that we had earlier. I can't let this one lie, essentially. I need to abandon this chapter's playthrough and redo it. I just wanted to put a quick video out there just explaining all that. I don't know if any of you will still be with me at this point because I've just been droning on and on and on. But yeah, I just wanted to get this down on record, kind of what happened, because I don't want a messy channel, but it looks like I'm going to have a messy channel. But most importantly, I don't want anybody who watches this to go to their game and play their game incorrectly. That's the primo #1 thing that I would hate to occur. So I just want to make sure everyone is on the level, and I'm going to replay Chapter 3, hopefully according to the rules, so that any future viewers that watch it can do so with a certain peace of mind that they can at least treat what I'm doing as legit, and they can apply it to their own games if they wish to. Okay, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. I can let go of that button now. Yeah, I need to fix this table. It's the old one. Yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to do. When I will get around to recording Chapter 3 again, I don't know. It's Monday today. I might have some free time on Wednesday, so I'll try to get it up before the weekend, but no promises. So yeah, we'll give it another go and see how we do this time with all six cultists this time. We will start off with a slight advantage over the previous one, but that final act, that's way harder. If you spend those clues and screw up like Wendy did, that's brutal. And thank you to, I think it was Daniel in the YouTube comments for pointing that out. Very, very appreciative for keeping me in check there. That's all. I will see you for Part 9, Redux, the returning of the Devourer Below, shortly. In a few days, perhaps, I hope, maybe. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye. See ya.